All right, let's talk about something that trips up so many Spanish learners. Reflexive verbs. Yep, they can look a little weird at first, but I promise you, there's a really simple, kind of beautiful logic to them, and we're gonna crack it wide open.
I mean, have you ever just stared at a verb like levantarse and thought, what is that little se doing on the end? And what am I even supposed to do with it? If you've been there, trust me, you are in very good company.
Well, guess what? That confusion, it ends right now. In just the next few minutes, we are going to pull back the curtain on these verbs, and you'll see how they can make your Spanish sound way more natural and, honestly, a lot more precise.
So what's the big secret? What's the master key to unlocking these things? It all boils down to one simple, powerful idea, the concept of self.
Okay, so here's the official definition. A reflexive verb is just an action where the person doing the action is also the person receiving the action. The subject and the object, they're the same person. That's it. That's the whole game right there.
And here's the thing that makes it all click. We actually do this in English all the time, we just don't think about it. When you say, I wash myself, or he's talking to himself, that's a reflexive idea. Spanish just has a much cooler, more built-in way of showing it.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts of how these things work. Think of it like a simple two-part machine. You've got the pronoun part, and you've got the verb part. The only rule is both parts have to match up with whoever is doing the action. So every single time, you're doing two things. Step 1, you pick the right little pronoun that says who is doing the action to themselves. Step 2, you conjugate the verb for that exact same person, just like you always do. So let's meet those all-important pronouns.
And here they are. This is your toolkit. You've got me for myself, te for yourself, then there's se, which is the utility player. It works for himself, herself, and the formal yourself. Nos is ourselves. Os is what you'll hear in Spain for yourselves. And then se comes back again for themselves and yourselves plural. Honestly, get comfortable with these guys and you are more than halfway home.
Okay, look at this. This chart shows that two-part system in action perfectly, using the verb lavarse, to wash oneself. For I, you grab the pronoun me and the yo form of the verb, lavo. Boom, me lavo. For you, you take te and you pair it with lavas, te lavas. You see that beautiful pattern? The pronoun and the verb ending are like two arrows, both pointing right back at the subject. It's so clean.
All right, so now that we've got the basics, let's blow this wide open. Because it's not just about washing your face or brushing your hair. No way. Reflexive verbs have some other really cool uses that take us way beyond the bathroom mirror. So we've already nailed the first type, what we call true reflexives, actions you do to your own body. But they also show up for reciprocal actions, when people do things to each other. They're also huge for showing a change of state, like getting sad or becoming happy. And then there are some that are just, well, they're just always reflexive. It's part of their identity.
Here's a perfect example of that each other idea. Ellos se abrazan. They're not hugging themselves, right? That'd be a little weird. The se here tells us the action is reciprocal. It's bouncing back and forth between them. They are hugging each other.
Now this next one, this is a game changer, the change of state. In English, we say things like, he got angry. Spanish is so elegant here, it uses a reflexive verb, enojarse. So, se enojó. He didn't anger someone else. The anger happened to him. It's almost like he made himself angry. This is the same logic for getting married, getting worried, even falling asleep.
Okay, so where are you really going to use these verbs day to day? The number one place, by a long shot, is talking about your daily routine. This is where this grammar comes to life and starts to feel totally natural.
Let's just run through a typical morning Spanish style. First, me despierto, I wake myself up. Then, me levanto, I get myself up. Me ducho, I shower myself. Me visto, I get myself dressed. And then, at the end of the day, me acuesto, I put myself to bed. See? Every single one of those is an action you are doing to yourself.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting. Sometimes, just by adding that reflexive pronoun, you can completely change a verb's meaning. Take the verb ir. It just means to go. But irse, that means to leave or to go away. It's like you're actively taking yourself away from a place. It's a small change with a big impact on the meaning.
Here's another classic example. Dormir means to sleep. The general state of being asleep. But dormirse is the action, the moment of falling asleep. So you could say, yo duermo 8 horas. I sleep for 8 hours.
But you'd say, me dormí a las 10. I fell asleep at 10. You see how much more precise your language becomes? All right, we're on the home stretch. This is the final piece of the puzzle. We know what the pronouns are, we know why we need them, but where the heck do you put them in a sentence? The great news is, the rules are super clear and consistent. Okay, rule number 1, the big one. The pronoun almost always goes right before the main conjugated verb. Simple as that. Me levanto. Now, if you have two verbs together, like I want to get up, you can attach the pronoun to the end of the second verb. Quiero levantarme. And with commands, it's a piece of cake. Attach it to the end of a positive command, like levántate, but put it before a negative command, like no te levantes.
So let's boil this all down into your quick start guide. First, just focus on those daily routine verbs. Get those down cold. Second, memorize those pronouns. Me, te, se, nos, os, se. Third, your go-to rule of thumb. When in doubt, the pronoun goes before the verb. And finally, from this day forward, when you see a verb ending in that little se, a light bulb should just go on in your head that says, aha, this is a job for a reflexive pronoun.
Look, at the end of the day, the only way to really get good at these is to just start using them. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. So, I'll leave you with this. Encourage yourself to use them. Just dive in. Give it a shot, and you're going to find that this thing that seemed so confusing is actually one of the most powerful and useful tools you have.